Welcome back to the channel, guys. On the last video I mentioned taking the engine out a couple months ago, so recalibrate this actuator. Now upon doing so, I did not get my test pipes properly seated back on my headers. For one, we had this bolt right here that I guess it's cross thread, it's not tightening and it's not loosening anymore, so that needs to come out. We also had a bolt here that wasn't tightening anymore as well, so that left me with an exhaust leak. Right now, having that exhaust leaks for a couple of months, I decided that it's time to get it done. So the only way to get to the bolt that won't tighten or won't loosen was to take the headers off, pull the test pipes out, and take the entire assembly out. Now, how did I get those out? We're gonna walk through that real fast. Your air intake, the box, the filter box goes here. We all know that. The pipes are connected here. So a flathead screwdriver will get that clamp open. A 10mm socket will pull this bolt right here. Don't forget your mass airflow sensor is connected to the intake system as well. You unplug this, you unscrew that 10mm bolt, you unscrew the clamp holding that to the throttle body, and that entire system comes out. The same is said for the passenger side. The 10mm bolt holds the box here, and your post muff pipe goes here, which is held on by a clamp that you can use a flathead screwdriver to pull. These are vacuum lines on the sides of the intake system. You can go ahead and pull those off as well. Now, when you have done that, there is a heat shield on both sides, driver and passenger side. These bad boys over here. This is the driver side. And this is the passenger side. All right. So on each of them, you're gonna have a 10mm bolt to unscrew. A 10 socket can get down there, or a wrench. This one is the one that caused me a problem. It started to round out and it wouldn't pull. So I employed some violence using a chisel and a hammer to try to shear the bolt head off. And with doing so, I did that. I tore into the weld. So that's the main reason we got to go to the shop this morning to get that fixed. But apart from that, as soon as you have gotten these heat shields off, you will then get access to the 6 bolts holding your exhaust headers in. These 6 bolts will be 6 14mm bolts, and yes, you can get to them. The driver side is a bit more difficult because we have AC lines and you have wiring harness running here, so getting your hands into these spaces to get those 14s will be challenging, but it is possible, and it is not a difficult task, I would say. Passenger side is a lot easier. There's a lot more room on this side to gain access to those 6 14mm bolts, and once you do that, the exhaust header just drops right off the engine. Moving under the car, we have where our catalysts were previously, and now we have test pipes, 2 bolts, 4 in total. So you're gonna go ahead, pull these 2 bolts right here. Your test pipe will fall off. and then you can take the exhaust system out this way. Now, one thing to note, on the driver's side, you will have to pull the steering column for the exhaust header to pass through the space. This bad boy right here bolts into this right here. One thing to note as well, here's a mark here. I got a piece of tape there with a mark, and I got a mark right here on this one. Ensure that you mark where this came out, as well as once you pull this 12mm bolt and you're backing this out, try not to rotate it, or try not to rotate the wheel, so your steering will stay lined up. All right, I guess you can see the exit for the exhaust manifold there. Okay. Got my O2 sensor in the way. There you go. Those are the exhaust exits on the driver's side. Remember to unplug your O2 sensors, or they will be a task and a half to unscrew while you're trying to remove the exhaust. And I believe that's it. That's how you remove the exhaust manifold from a G37. And I guess how you remove the catalyst as well, or test pipe. All right, so let's get out of here. So it has been decided that these exhaust headers aren't gonna get polished and cleaned up and retrofitted to the car. What we're actually gonna do, these bad boys are going in the trash. As I said before, these headers are in the trash pile. The G Harleyquinn will be down for about, I would say, 4 or 5 days until we get that delivery in. So what we're doing today, we're doing some header gaskets on this Dodge Ram 1500. Already got this one out and got the new gasket in. Gonna go ahead, tighten those bolts up, and we can go ahead, call this side done. And then I'm gonna get over here and get started on this side, pop that off, get that gasket out, and that should be probably an hour's work or so. So this is where we're at. There we go. Leak right there. Right there. Alright guys, it's been a week since we took the headers out the car and decided that we're gonna get some new headers installed. I just got a phone call that there's a box here with some shiny new parts at the shop, so let's go see what they brought. Here they are, the new exhaust headers for the G. The kit came with new exhaust header gaskets, new gaskets for my catalytic converter or test pipes if you're running these, as well as a bunch of nuts and bolts for all the fittings. For this particular project, we will be reusing the gaskets on the Y-pipe section of the car, as well as we'll be reusing our studs and bolts on the exhaust headers. Yeah, these headers are really nice. Very nice clean wells inside and out, very seamless, very clean. Got bungs for my O2 sensors. And yeah, we're gonna get started wrapping these headers off. Got the wrap right there, stainless steel cable ties, got some zip ties to temporarily hold them in place. Gonna need a scissors and some nipping pliers. All right, so let's get these wrapped off. You wanna get started by pre-soaking your wrap overnight. This will allow the wrap to flex a lot easier around the headers, as well as when they start to heat up, they will dry and adhere a lot nicer, a lot smoother to the headers. From there, what you're gonna do, we're not gonna unroll all of this all at once. What we're gonna do like so, and measure loops at 1/4 inch overlaps all the length of the pipe section that we want to wrap, and then we'll cut that portion off the wrap. Another thing to note, you would like to decide on the route that you like to take in wrapping your headers. Now in this particular case, what we're gonna do a wrap here, we're gonna do a wrap here as well, and then I'm gonna do the collector all the way up to here and finish it on this one right here. And there you have it. The exhaust headers are back on the test pipes. Now we're gonna go ahead, remove the bungs from the headers that we got, get these O2 sensors back in, and from there we can go ahead and get these back in the car. The driver's side is done now. We got pipes in, all 6 bolts are down tight, torque to spec. We can go ahead now and reinstall this intake system on this side, and the passenger side will be done. It's now 11 p.m. and I am just getting done putting in both exhausts, fitting the car back together. There was an issue. Of course, there's always an issue. There's always that one bolt. So we had to go to the store and get a whole pack of studs for the engine block. Apart from that, there was just a bunch of issues getting beyond the AC line on that side. On this side, it was very easy. The driver's side will give you a task and a half to complete if you are doing this at home. But yeah, exhausts are in, they're wrapped, they're tightened, and we're about to get the car back on the ground. crank it up real quick. Hopefully everything is everything, right? That's a lot quieter than it usually is. You learned something today, how to remove and replace exhaust headers, as well as the proper procedure in how to wrap your headers. All right, one thing to note, because these wraps were wet when you first start the car, you're gonna start drying, and because they're drying, you're gonna get some white smoke, steam to be exact, and yeah, that's that. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, hit that like button if you like what you see. Hit subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. All right.